Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for my second video. I really appreciate the support that I've gotten so far. So today I want to talk about something that has been very relevant in my life as of recent events, and that is ending toxic friendships. First of all, why do I look so orange? I don't look that orange in person, I promise. Ending a toxic friendship can be very, very difficult, and it can be very, very hurtful, and I don't think that we talk about this enough. It can be a very difficult thing to do, but it can be very beneficial in the long run, which is why I think it's important to address this topic. I have had to break things off with a friend 2 times in my life, and both times it was very, very painful and difficult in the moment, but it ended up, like I said, being good in the long run. First of all, I want to talk about when to know how to end a friendship, and also how to know when to end it. I would say the number one pointer in knowing that you should end a friendship is when your friend doesn't consider your feelings or your well-being, and also when the friendship is inconsistent, or when they are using you and when they are draining you of your energy and everything that you have to give and offer. In both of the friendships that I ended, I realized, especially after, that I was being used by both of them, and that it was causing me to be very sad. The first friendship I had to end was with somebody I was actually friends with for many years, throughout my teen years, right into my early adulthood. So that was very, very difficult. It was very difficult for me to cut ties, as I am a very loyal person, and I am a very loyal friend. Our friendship was never mutually nurturing or beneficial, but I stayed because I struggled to leave and I didn't want to hurt them. At the same time, all of the other friends that were in the friend group had already distanced themselves from this person because they recognized that they were toxic and that they were not considerate. They warned me multiple times, they told me that I was being used, but I wouldn't listen, and it ended up really hurting me in the end. So I really learned from this that I had to set stronger boundaries, just like my friends had done, to protect themselves. I had to do the same thing to protect myself, to prevent myself from getting hurt in the future. During the course of our friendship, she almost got herself arrested while we were together, which was very scary, and I particularly asked her not to do anything risky, and if she would have had to face consequences, they would have also affected me because I was with her. I wasn't doing risky things, and she insisted on them. She didn't respect my request, and she didn't respect my well-being, or hers for that matter. This was a common theme throughout our friendship. She would often do things that did not consider my well-being at all, and she did what she wanted to do in the spur of the moment. Yet she always expected me to support her in times of need and to consider her well-being. The minute I kind of knew that our friendship was over, or that I should end it, was when she told me that the reason she wanted to become friends with me was because she thought that I attracted people that she wanted to be around, and that I had a nice energy that drew people to me. When I was younger, when I was a teen, I was a very bubbly person. I was in multiple social groups. I was very social, and so I belonged to a lot of different friend groups. And she basically told me that she was using me to meet people and to get invited to places. This was very hurtful because I'd never even considered before this moment that people would do such a thing. And I don't think many people do. But this was something that really kind of revealed her character to me. This really showed me that it was time to end things, that she was using me, and that the friendship had become nothing but toxic. It probably had always been nothing but toxic, but I tried to see through that because I really did struggle to leave her. The second friendship that I had to break off was actually very recent. It was somebody that I met online and then also proceeded to meet in person. I actually met this person on Instagram. They sent me a message, and then we started speaking on WhatsApp, and yeah, we became friends from there. We actually quickly became very good friends. We would talk most days, and we would call and share very deep things with each other, things that I don't normally share with other people, especially on such a quick base. Like we had just met and we were already sharing such deep thoughts and moments of our lives with each other, which is actually a warning in itself. But I think my first major warning that I ignored, I recognized it, but I chose to ignore the sign, was when she told me that she didn't have any long-term friendships, especially with girls. When I asked her what the reason for this was, she told me that it was because girls were jealous of her life, and her looks. This should have really been a warning for me, because in my experience, people or girls won't dislike you because you are pretty, or because you are living a good life. They will maybe be intimidated by you. At least I might feel intimidated by people like that, but I wouldn't dislike them. If anything, people that are living a beautiful life, that would attract me to them. I would want to be part of their beautiful life. So that should have been a big warning sign to me. Girls or people that say things like that, just stay away from them. Another thing that should have been a huge warning sign for me was the inconsistency that appeared in the friendship. Some days she would message me all day, even if I told her that I was busy studying for an exam, and she would call me and she wouldn't respect my boundaries. Even if I told her I had a really big test the next day, she would still proceed to call me until I had brought it up multiple times. But I was fine with that, because I'm a very dedicated friend. I want to be there for my friends. If they're going through something, it's important for me to support them. And I think a lot of my friends would do the same for me. And I appreciate that. But she wouldn't respect my boundaries, and she would do that. But then on other days, if I sent her a message, she would act like it was such an inconvenience to answer me. She would either ignore me or she would respond in a passive-aggressive manner. I especially noticed that she did this if she asked me to do something that I wasn't willing to do or that I didn't want to do, and I gave her good reasons. That would upset her. And then she would act like I was such a nuisance for messaging her, which in hindsight, now thinking back, is very manipulative, and I shouldn't have accepted that from anyone, and neither should you. You have every right to say no to people if you have a good reason, or even if you don't have a good reason. If you don't want to do something, you don't need to do it. This behavior from her made me distance myself from her once before. Eventually, I told her that she had hurt me, and she proceeded to apologize, and she told me that she wouldn't do it again, and I gave her another chance, and we actually became better friends than before after that. She also decided that we were going to do things before I had even agreed to doing it. A very big red flag was how fast our friendship was moving. The kind of illusion of closeness, but it happened so fast. I also saw her make friends with another girl around the same time that we became friends. And she started calling her her best friend after only having known her for 2 months. This is a very toxic thing in romantic relationships, when they move very fast and become very intense very quickly. But I also believe that they are very toxic in friendship relationships and all relationships. Relationships are supposed to move forward in a psychological point of view. Relationships are supposed to move forward in a consistent, slow manner as you begin to know each other, as you begin to trust each other, as you become comfortable in each other's company. That is how healthy relationships move forward. And eventually you move from acquaintances to friends, and then you become good friends, and then maybe you'll become best friends. You consistently get to know the person and you start to like them more. Again, from a psychological point of view, relationships like that tend to be toxic and codependent and very explosive, but the most important factor is codependency. I just wanted to talk about this today because I feel like it's a very important topic to talk about, and I don't think enough people talk about it, and I don't think it's an enough spoken about topic in society. We speak about breakups with romantic relationships, but we don't speak about breakups with friendships. And breakups with friendships can be something very difficult to go through. It can be very hurtful. It can be very difficult to be consistent with. And I believe it's one of the most difficult relationships to let go of. But sometimes it's important to let people go out of our lives if they are hurting us consistently. Look, everybody in your life is likely to hurt you at least one point or another, probably by not meaning to even hurt you. But people in your life are not supposed to hurt you consistently in a very short time frame, and they're not supposed to disrespect you to a large extent. Like, sure, sometimes you will feel disrespected by most people, and then it is important to set your boundaries. But if a person is disrespecting your boundaries multiple times after you have told them, that might be a sign that you need to end a friendship. Friends are supposed to support each other, they are supposed to have fun together, they are supposed to uplift each other, relationships are supposed to be mutually beneficial. Sometimes they are more beneficial to the other person, and then they'll be more beneficial to you. But all in all, the most important thing in a friendship is that you are respected and that you feel like they are not hurting you and draining you of all your energy. If they aren't considering you and if they aren't respecting your well-being, it is important to respect yourself from people that hurt you, especially if they have shown you that they don't think it's important to protect you and your well-being. I'm sorry for this deep topic, but I really felt like it needed to be spoken about. I felt like it was very important to address, and I really hope that somebody perhaps listened to this, that it could help, because I honestly wish that I would have known some of the things that I know now sooner. It would have probably saved me from a lot of hurt and a lot of sadness in general. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm sure the next video will be more lighthearted and happy, and I hope that you have a beautiful day further. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching it and if you came this far, and don't forget to subscribe for my future content. I left my Instagram link down below in the bio, as well as my website link. Thank you so much for the support. See you next time. I just noticed now that there is a very big echo in the video, and I'm very sorry about that. I will try and fix it for the next video. Thank you so much for watching and for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it could help you somehow and be beneficial. If you think it could help someone else, feel free to send it to them.